Hey guys, welcome back to Team 6K. This is Undead, and today we're going to be talking about the half gem sales that come around once in a while in Duel Links. Every time there's some big deal event like a new world or anniversary or the World Series qualifiers, a bunch of old boxes sell packs for 25 gems instead of 50 gems each. This is a boon for players looking to collect cards on a budget, as they can save their gems in anticipation for this sale and get everything double as cheap as it would normally be. If you see this video and the sale is no longer active, don't worry, it will come back. And when it comes back, there's a good chance that more boxes will have the sale applied to them. Today we are going to talk about everything worth going for in these half gem sales. To be quite honest with you, the first 4 main boxes and first 4 mini boxes aren't really worth going through for anything that is all that helpful. Although there are some good cards to be sure, those cards are completely irrelevant or outclassed right now. Unless you really like level 2 beast decks, in which case you might like to go through the Land of Titans mini box to grab 3 copies of Obedience Schooled. I should mention that mini boxes up until the 13th mini box Empire of Scarlet only had 80 packs each rather than 100 packs each, so it's a lot easier to complete these. On the other hand though, main boxes were 200 packs until the 14th main box Gaia Genesis. So while they are normally harder to go through than the main boxes we are used to today, the half gem sale makes it a lot easier to go through them. The Crimson Kingdom main box was one of the best boxes in Duel Links for a long time, and while it isn't as praiseworthy anymore, it still has some really good cards in it, like Gazuki and the first wave of Buster Blader support, which is mandatory if you want to play the Buster Blader strategy. The Dawn of Destiny mini box was very important back in the day as well, but these days the only card you might want is Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. But if you want this, then you would probably only want one of it, and only in a Fire King deck. I'm sure you've heard of Floodgate Trap Hole. It's probably even ruined your day before. If it annoys you now, imagine how annoying it was back in 2017 when it was released in the main box generation next. You could go through that box now and it would be a lot cheaper than when I spent my gems on it back in the day, but to be quite honest with you, the rest of the box isn't that good, and you might prefer to play other staple cards anyway. Speaking of which, Forbidden Chalice, which is arguably the best staple in today's format, is in the mini box Servants of Kings. If you don't have 3 copies of this card, I urge you to stop everything and make sure by one way or another, you get 3 of this. And with this mini box having a half gem sale, now is better than ever to get it. I'm not gonna lie, getting Cosmic Cyclone when it came out was amazing. It was in a main box, but you also got a meta deck along with it, being Gladiator Beasts. It was a force to be reckoned with at that time. But now, all the box is good for is Cosmic Cyclone and potentially Into the Void. That said, Cosmic Cyclone is the other best staple in this format alongside Forbidden Chalice. And Cosmic has always been good and always will be good, so if you don't own 3 of this, then you really should make it a priority to get this, and of course make sure you take advantage of this half gem sale. The mini box Blades of Spirits is not necessarily a box everybody needs to consider going through. However, it does have cards that can be valuable depending on what kind of decks you like to play. Parallel Twister can be played in Evil Eye. That deck is an absolute sleeper and it plays 3 Parallel Twister, and this half gem sale makes it so much easier to complete that already cheap deck. Powerful Rebirth is also a nice revival trap, and while there are more generic revival or traps in the game now, this one has the utility of raising the monster's level by 1, which is quite nice in magnets to help you make rank 4s. Don't sleep on this box, definitely keep it in mind. If you're a huge fan of Gem Knights, the Primal Burst main box is going to be a huge deal for you, but to be honest, there's no real other reason to go into this box. Unfortunately, Dark World isn't very good, and when it gets support, it might get reprints anyway. The Bujin archetype has historically been a fan favorite, but it is not what I would call the best investment, so if you really want to invest in it, then the Resonance of Contrast mini box will contain the boss monster Yamato, but it also has Void Trap Hole, which is a really nice cheap staple if you can't afford the much bigger UR staples. If you're a fan of the Gishki archetype, or you just like water decks in general, the Abyss Encounters main box is actually really nice. It has a few cards with future potential, as well as cards that are needed for the Gishki archetype, which isn't too bad right now, even if it isn't at the top meta tables. This box also has one of my favorite cards, Archfiend Emperor, the first Lord of Horror, but I have to admit that he and the deck he's a part of are not that good anymore. The Valiant Souls main box might be on contention for the best box available in this sale, just because of how much you can get from it that is still good to this day. Needle Sealing and Paleozoic Canadia are still staples to this day, no worse than they were on release. In fact, Needle Sealing is better than it was on release because of more decks that synergize with it, like Rockets. Masked Hero Anki and Mask Changer in here as well. Of course, these make Dark Hero decks OTKU out of nowhere easily. The Visions of Ice mini box contains Treacherous Trap Hole, a card you may have already spent an SR Dream ticket on, but it also contains the majority of the Spellbook Prophecy archetype. It is one of the only decks that can quick effect non-target banish a card in a way that is searchable. Definitely something to consider. The Clash of Wings mini box, the only thing of note here is the Furhar archetype. It's not that good right now, but the support that they have in the TCG might make it really good when it eventually comes to Duel Links, so definitely keep this box in mind. The Burning Nova main box contains some of the Fire Fist cards. If you really like Fire Fist, you probably need to go into this box. Gem Knights also need to go into this box. Madolche has Pudding Cessor in here, which is mandatory for that deck, and Kaiku is nice for the version of Dark Magician that summons Dark Magician using navigation. Elemental Hero Nova is in here too. You're gonna need that if you want to play heroes. The Empire of Scarlet mini box is the first mini box that contains 100 packs, but it has some good stuff in it. The Vampire and Insector archetypes get their first bundle of support in this box. Even if these decks lack competitive viability right now, they might get the right support from the TCG in the future. The Gaia Genesis main box is actually a hidden gem. It has so many good cards in it. Swap Frog, some Mermails, some Atlanteans are here, and these are all good for water-based decks. UA also got its first wave of support here, and while they aren't an amazing deck, they're pretty fun to play and they can put up a negate and OTK pretty well. Galaxy Cyclone is a staple for many Galaxy Eyes decks. Even if that deck isn't that good right now, you can be sure it'll get support again one day. Fire Fist also got a little bit of stuff here, so that's nice for that deck. Sangan might also be a sleeper. Elemental Hero Gaia is also in there, and you're gonna need that for heroes as well. Stardust Acceleration has my all-time favorite card in the franchise, Stardust Dragon. But realistically, you could just get one copy of the Stardust Structure deck to get the alternate copy of this card without any stress. Although this box does contain Unexpected Die, Azure Silver Dragon, the Wise of Legend, and Genix Undyne. Very much good card that shouldn't be underestimated. This box also has Offerings to the Doomed, and this has been a staple in Duel Links before, and it might be a staple in Duel Links again. The Power of Bravery mini box contains the second wave of support for the Buster Blader deck, so you're definitely going to need to go through this if you want to play that deck, but it also contains Scrap and Morphtronic cards, which may be good in the future. The Black Storm Rising main box has some heat in it. It's got Blackwing support, and trust me, Blackwings have some potential. I'm in the lab with them as we speak. The box also has Dragoonity cards, which the Weatherman is in the lab with. And if that weren't enough, the box also has Bujin support and Cards of Consonance. I'm sure we all know which deck Cards of Consonance goes in. The Secrets of Ancients mini box, despite sounding like a mission from a recent Assassin's Creed game, was actually considered pretty trash when it came out. However, now it's still pretty trash, but it has Junk Synchron in it, and in my book that redeems the whole thing. But in seriousness, it also has Powered Insectron and some Traptrix cards. Powered Insectron has been in the meta a few times now, and Traptrix has future potential. Gigantes is in here too, and he's pretty good in block dragon decks. An Ancient Fairy Dragon has been good to search for Necro Valley, and it might be good in the future to search for field spells. The Revolution Beginning main box has some really nice cards in it. Junk Destroyer is played in a lot of Synchron decks right now, even though I don't agree with it. Miracle Fusion's in here, and nobody can deny how good that is with Sunrise, and there's a chance that the Karakuri cards in this box get unhit one day, so that they might see meta play again. The Tornado of Shadows mini box is mostly trash these days, but it does contain Mecha Phantom Beast Tetherwolf, which is used in Mermaid Orchest, and it also contains Elemental Hero Great Tornado, which is used in Heroes right now. To be honest, the only reason you might want to go through the Absolute Inferno box is the Fire Fist support. Even Red Dragon Archfiend is in a structure deck, and even if you wanted to play him, he's been completely replaced by his big brother Scarlight. The Dimensions of Wizards box, if I were to be biased with you, is one of my favorite boxes ever, because it gave us Psychic Wielder and Psychic Tracker. After I got my 3 copies of each, I would make as many decks as I could with these bad boys for years. And the box isn't as good these days, but it does contain Madolche support, which is awesome, and the whole Golden Castle deck, which is all contained just within this box, so it's a whole deck you can get really cheap, though you'll probably still need some staples to keep it competitive. The Warriors Unite main box is one of the best aging boxes ever, but people might overlook it. It has almost everything you'll need for a 6 Samurai deck. It has some support for the Scrap archetype, which may be good one day. It has Stardust Charge Warrior, which we'll see play until the end of time. And it has Necro Fusion, which is seeing some play in Rockets right now. It has Quick Draw Synchron, which a lot of Synchron players are using, even if I don't personally agree with it. And it also has some generic normal spells that can be used format to format or deck to deck. those being Shuffle Reborn, which was recently used in Galaxy Eyes, and Herald of the Abyss for powerful removal capabilities. The Lords of Shining mini-box was not very good on release, but almost everything here got better with support later on. Support that required the cards from this box. Blue Eyes needs the Whitestone of Ancients from this box, Heroes needs Elemental Hero Shining, and of course the majority of the Dark Lord archetype is here, which may be good again with more support or more leniency from the ban list. The Blazing Rose main box was when it felt like Konami started caring about synchros in Duel Links, as they gave some really good ones, Black Rose Dragon and Vermilion Dragon Mech. Though you can get Black Rose from one copy of a structure now, so it's looking like you'll just go in here for Vermilion, but this box also has Sub-Terrors and Metaphys, both decks that you might like a lot if you love annoying the hell out of everyone. The Guardians of Rock mini box has some really nice stuff for you regardless of if you're a casual competitive player. Magnets has been competitive on multiple occasions, but isn't as much right now, but it may very well be again, and the archetype is almost entirely in this box. The Trimed archetype is really free to play too. It's pretty much all in this box except for 2 other cards, one of which is an SR you only need 1 copy of from another mini box, and the other is a rare you can easily pull from a new mini box. This box also has Block Dragon, which is seeing play to this day because of how powerful it is alone. Magician's Navigation also originates from this box, if you wanted to play that version of Dark Magicians, which is still very good by the way. The Cybernetic Rebellion main box has some pretty solid stuff, like Mermail support, as well as the majority of the Crystron archetype, which still gets some good results from time to time. This box also has Nightbeam, a good backer removal card to consider, but if that's what you're looking for, then you should really be going for Cosmic Cyclone instead. This box also has Alien support, and aliens really aren't that good, but I love them, so I thought I'd mention it in case you like them too. And Mecha Beast O-Line is in here as well. That card's probably going to be competitive in some form or another forever. I mentioned Crystrons already, but the boss monster Quarion Gandrax might be one of the best synchro monsters you can summon on the opponent's turn, so it's worth picking up if you're interested in that. The Curse of Dead mini box is mostly worth brushing over, but it does have most of the Vendread archetype. Vendreads are actually pretty solid with links these days, so definitely keep them in mind. Valhalla Calling is one of the main boxes in this sale that you should probably put on your priority list only because it has Forbidden Lance in it. Like Cosmic and Chalice, Lance is a card that every player needs to get 3 copies of at some point in their Duelist career. So really, drop everything to get this, it's super important. Apart from that, this box has UA support if you're interested in that, and it also has Fortune Ladies. The archetype cards that aren't in this box are level up rewards, so it's a pretty cheap deck you could get your hands on. This box also gave only 1 card to the Dark Lord archetype, skyrocketed the deck to tier 0 status, and that card was just their search spell, so if you want to play Dark Lords, you'll need this box for that card. Elemental Hero Solid Soldier also comes in this box. I know it's very random for it to be here, but you do need this for Hero. The Dark Dimension main box is one of the best boxes of all time. Nearly every card in this box saw competitive play at one point or another, even low rarity cards. For now, consider the Invoked archetype in case they get one of their boss monsters in the future. Consider Thunder Dragon Hulk in case of future support for Thunder Dragons, and consider Necro Valley and all the other Gravekeeper cards, because Necro Valley will always be a good card. The Spirit of the Beast mini box continues the Magnet and Crystron support and begins the Yosenju and Ritual Beast support. If you're interested in these decks, definitely check them out. The Aerial Assault main box gives the rest of the Blackwing support, so definitely go through this one 3 times if you want to play Blackwing. The deck is quite expensive, requiring 2 main boxes, but the half gem sale makes it so much easier. The box also has Brionac, which you'll need to play the best version of Synchrons, and it has Jet Synchron, which you'll need 2 of to play the best version of Synchron. Swallow's Nest is in this box, which can be nice for winged big decks like Raid Raptors. Rockets and Resonators also play Dark and Dragon, which is in this box. Insector gets support here too, so if you love Insectors from the TCG and you want to play them in Duel Links, you'll need 3 of this box. The Soul of Resurrection mini box might be one of the best mini boxes of all time since it gave Shiranui, which was meta for a long time, and it left such an impact on the community that anytime somebody sees a back row heavy deck, they think of Shiranui. Shiranui isn't good anymore, but the box still has good cards, mainly Red Resonator, which is played in Resonators, and Dragon's Mirror, which is played in Rockets. Both are very good decks this format, so definitely come here if you want to play them. Future Horizon is an important box to go through, as even though it isn't as important as Forbidden Lance, Forbidden Chalice, and Cosmic Cyclone, the Artifact Lancia in this box is something every player should strive to obtain at some point. Right now it's amazing against multiple of the top decks, and it will fall off again, but it will definitely come into favor yet again in the future, as the card always does. This box also gave Magician's Circle, which single-handedly made Dark Magician one of the best decks for pretty much just as long as Shiranui, and of course the card is still good in Dark Magician to this day. This box also contains important Cyber Dragon cards, so this is probably the most important box for Cyber Dragon players. The deck isn't that good right now, however trust me, it will be again. Super Heavy Samurai is also pretty much entirely in this box, so if you like that archetype or just want to own it for when the deck gets support one day, this box is for you. The Masters of Shadow mini box finished the Yosenju support, at least for today's discussion, and it also introduces the Melodious deck, which got support later on in the game and became a meta contender, and it may still be good again one day too. This box also gives Ninja support, but not enough to make it a good deck yet. The Judgment Force box is one of the best boxes of all time in Duel Links, as nearly every card in this box has seen competitive success at some point in time. This box has Lightsworn, Lunalights, Blue Eyes, Gishki, Gradle, Gladiator Beast, and of course Orcust support, and right now Orcust is the best deck in the game. The Fortress of Gears mini box has the Vision heroes, which were amazing for a long time after release, but fell off again only because the good hero skills lock you out of playing them. But they are still among the best hero cards, so don't be surprised to see them being played in the future version of meta heroes. This box also has Red Sprinter, a card that is needed for the current best version of Resonators, and you only need one of it. This box also has the big Synchro Hot Red for that deck too. This box is also famously the Aramage box. You could go through this box only one time and have a complete deck, alongside the Aramage cards that you can get from the card trader. The Truth Universe box was actually really bad on release, or so everyone thought, because everybody was sleeping on a box that oozes with so much potential that it overflows. The Malefic archetype, I'm not going to act like it's meta level, but it was really good with a skill that's come out recently that supports it. DDD originates from this box and it's currently meta. Ancient Pixie Dragon is great in Blackwings. And Miscellaneousaurus, my goodness. Have you read Misk? Misk is one of the best cards you can play in TG, and one day it will be amazing in Dinos. Crystal Beast also got their Searcher and their Interruption in this box. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell to see when Weatherman shows his spicy Crystal Beast deck. The Flames of Heart mini box has Gokis in it. If you've been playing for much of Duel Links' Link era, you'll know how damn good Gokis are. Mayakashi are in here too, and they may have very nice future potential in the game. Witch's Sorcery might be the best box for you to go to if all you want is just to grab some decks, because maybe you already have a bunch of staples, but by going through this box 2 times you'll have completed Evil Eye and Predaplan, and if you go through a 3rd time you'll have completed Witchcrafters. This box also has Speedroid Kendama. If you saw my video on Speedroids, you'll see how spicy the wins can be with that card. The Chronicle of Glory mini box is a sleeper, to be honest. If you go through this box 3 times you'll have nearly finished the Megalith deck, as long as you get the 3 copies of Manju, or the more expensive version, Senju, from the 2nd mini box, and this deck shouldn't be slept on. It has some potential, trust me. This box also starts the Mathmech support, but one day Mathmech has the potential to be a meta contender in Duel Links. This box also contains Synchro Monsters, Coral Dragon, which is generically good, and Stardust Chronicle Spark Dragon, one of the best cards you can summon in TGs, as it can become unaffected by all card effects. Infernity Destruction is the name of the box you can get Infernity Archfiend and Launcher in, but the ban list has also been a destruction for Infernity, so you probably shouldn't go through this box unless you really want Weather Painters. They aren't all that good, but they are cheap and pretty fun, and all you need for them is to go through this box 3 times. That brings us to the very last box on this sale, the Arena of Sanctuary. This box has the support for Karakuri that got the deck nerfed to unplayability. Very sad indeed. This box also has the Valkyrie archetype, which has never been all that, but it can do some pretty nice things. Some support could potentially make it a rogue deck. This box also has Karmika, which at some points in Duel Links has been a staple for its ability to target banish any monster. This box also has that Trimid SR I mentioned earlier, and you'll only need one of them to play Trimids. As you can see, there really is so many amazing things you can get during this sale, and I'm so glad that Konami provides this opportunity roughly 3 times a year, sometimes more, in order to give free-to-play players a break when it comes to collecting some important cards for their collection. If this video was helpful to you, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell to get notified every time we make a new video. Don't worry if the sale ends before you get everything you need, because the sale will surely come months later anyway. Thanks for watching guys, and I've been Undead from Team 6K, signing out.
Wait, hey, feel like the greatest. Now I feel like they hate it. Now I feel like the only one and there is no debating. Man, I feel like they leaving. Now I feel like they waited. Now I feel like this is the feeling before I can make it. Before I hit the stage, I just feel like I'm nauseous. Or I feel like I'm popping. Or I feel like a boss is. Maybe I'm feeling off it. Or I feel like I'm toxic. Maybe feeling intoxicated is the reason for all this. I wanna whip it with the top down, dog, like I'm Earth Gang. Told him, listen, Wild Day shine like my first name. Told me go and grab a titty boy, it's my first chain. I ain't even switch gears yet, it's the first lane. The first pain I ever felt was the worst pain. Then church came, and that feeling of hurt came. Then her name made this feeling all worth pain. She made me realize what I had felt in the first place.